Question 23 reads, consider the following statements. Statement 1, carbon markets are likely to be one of the most widespread tools in the fight against climate change. Statement 2, carbon markets are markets transfer resources from the private sector to the state. So there are two statements. Which one of the following is correct in respect of the above statement is the question. So I have cited one news that appeared in the Hindu newspaper. Let me just take that. This is the news. So the news reads, explained what are the carbon markets and how do they operate. So as you can see, again and again they are picking questions from the Hindu newspaper. That is the main point I am trying to drive here. So if you read what are carbon markets and what does carbon markets do, you could see they are trying, they have this they are trying to fight the climate change problem, and see how they perform this kind of stuff. You will be able to answer this. I'm not going to read. It's a long article. It has a lot of details. Obvious, you should be whenever such a news hits in the newspaper, especially if it's coming from environment, climate change, disaster, all that kind of category news, you should be making notes for mains also from such newses. So you will be familiar with all the points that are mentioned in this news, since you are taking notes from these news for mains and noting any points important for prelims. So these news are very important. You should once you are regularly reading newspaper, you will be able to, when you are familiar with the pattern of prelims and mains, you will be easily identifying priority questions like this, and you will start making notes from these newses. Sorry. So yeah, so that is how you could answer this question from that newspaper. You could read the news if you want. I'm not going to go through the entire thing. So if you say somehow you missed out this newspaper, I'll just give you a tip. So if it says carbon markets are likely to be one of the most widespread tools in the fight against climate change, is highly likely that statement is true, since carbon markets, they are trying to trade for carbon somehow. You will get an idea from that word itself. There is some kind of mechanism. They are transferring the carbon, they are trying to reduce the carbon footprints by transferring some impact on one area to another. You will get that idea from that word itself, right? You can make an educated guess from that word itself. Then carbon markets transfer sources from the private sector to the state, transfer resources from the private sector to the state. You can see in the carbon markets, the private players will be participating, the state will be participating. So there's a high chance that this could be happening, even if you don't know. But I'm not saying start making educated guesses in all questions. You should be preparing for the prelims well. You should be going through all these newses and making very informed answers only. So I'm not encouraging you to do, but again, if you somehow misses, there is high chances to miss out some points, right? In the exam hall, if you are in a sticky situation, you could use such tips. So that's what I am trying to say. Yeah, okay. Anyway, that is question 23. I'll just move on to the question 24.